What's up, Internet? My name is Michael Cook. This is Blue Giant Media, and we're here to connect through gaming. Today, we're going to be taking 5 Minute Marvel by Connor Reed, published by Spin Master. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of how the game plays, and then we'll come back and I'll let you know what I like, what I don't like, and who I think may like and may not like 5 Minute Marvel. Here I have 5 Minute Marvel set up for 2 players. I've got Spider-Gwen and Squirrel Girl. So each one of them is going to have an equal cut of the deck, their own special deck, and their starting hand of cards drawn just from the regular resource deck. And for 2 players, you're going to have 6 cards each. For 3, you'll have 4, and for 4 or 5, you'll have 3 cards in your hand. Then you're going to have a set of cards here equal to the number on the boss that you've chosen, plus 2 for each player, plus 2 crisis cards for each player, and then you'll shuffle that up and set them there, and that's going to be the challenge that you'll be facing. Each one of your characters is going to have its own special ability that you can discard 3 cards to do, and once you're all set up, you're basically going to have a timer, which you can use your phone. You can use there's an app that comes for free. There's several different ways you can do it, but you can use a 5-minute timer. You're going to hit go, and you're going to turn over the first card. You're going to analyze on here. You're going to need 2 fists and 2 shields. So maybe this player says, oh, I've got a fist and a shield. And then as soon as you have played cards from your hand, then you can refill from either here or here. You can draw as many of these as you want, but you're going to end up getting, sometimes a lot of these are more situational and you can't end up playing them all. So maybe this player wants to turn over one of those and one of these. And over here this person says, well, I mean, I've got a shield, but it's also got a lightning bolt, so it's a little bit of a waste. But they want to play that one. And then you'll see some of them have special abilities, like right here, Spider-Gwen has this that says pause time. So you can pause the time on whatever clock you're using, and then it says that you get to pick a card from your resource deck and put it in your hand. So you can kind of go through your deck to find exactly what it is that you want in order to beat them. So then this person says, all right, well, I got a fist, so I'll do that. As soon as you've played all the symbols that are on the card that you're facing, you flip it over to the next. Now this is a mastermind. Squirrel Girl's special ability is to discard 3 cards to defeat a mastermind. So maybe they say, hey, don't worry about this one. I can do it in 3 cards instead of however many it would have taken. And then they want to maybe draw one more of those. And Squirrel Girl has some interesting abilities. This says defeat any card with a squirrel on it. So you'll see sometimes in the background, in fact, there's a squirrel right here. And if you can see, so you got to kind of pay attention to see if there's any squirrels in the background. So that one can be pretty interesting. And so you'll basically be going like this, defeating the different monsters and bad guys, masterminds, goons, villains, all that kind of stuff. Some crises are going to do different things. This says if the next mission card, these are mission cards, is a goons, then everyone has to discard your whole hand. And you're going to lose either if you don't beat everything in 5 minutes, or if you run out of cards so you can't draw anymore, or if you're just stuck where you both have cards in your hand, none of them can be used. That's where sometimes abilities like Spider-Gwen's, which discards 3 to choose a hero to draw 3 cards. So you can discard 3, which allows you to draw 3 new ones, and make your teammate draw 3. So that's a kind of a way to get to see a fresh new set of cards if you happen to come up against a card that you can't defeat with the cards you have in hand. So this next one is a minions, not a goons, so they don't have to discard their hand. They're just going to go ahead and fight against them. This person says, oh, I got a lightning bolt. Oh, I got a fist. Okay, next card. And you're going to be frantically going through the deck trying to get through it all in 5 minutes. And that's how you play. All right, and that should give you a pretty good idea of how to play through 5 Minute Marvel, but now I want to let you know what I do like about this game. First of all, I'm a big fan of real-time games. My number 2 favorite game of all time is Space Alert, which is somewhere right here behind me. And it is a real-time game that is just frantic and crazy and goofy and fun. I love the chaos of when everybody is kind of working together, but with the time element, there's just, you're talking over each other, you're trying to figure things out, and I love the fact that it gets over the alpha gamer thing, that syndrome. If you're unfamiliar, that means that you got one player who's basically saying, oh yeah, you should do that. Oh, if I were you, I'd be doing this. Hey, now you need to do that, you do this, and you do this so that I can do this, and then we'll win. That's great, but basically that one person is playing for everybody else. And it takes away from a lot of the social feel of the game. I love the social aspect of games. even though I am guilty of being the alpha gamer at times. But that's one of the reasons why I love time games, is because it kind of takes me out of that element and forces me to be more of a team player. So I love that. Second of all, I love the theme. This game is based off a 5-minute dungeon, so it plays very similarly. There's a few differences, mostly in the fact that you have your own individual decks here that do a little bit different things besides just having your own individual powers. But I love Marvel, so the theme, that pops a lot more for me. I also do really enjoy the fact that you have your individual player powers and your individual player decks, and you have to choose, do I want to have a whole bunch of cards from my deck, or do I want to have a whole bunch of these resource cards? Because there's times where certain cards from your own character deck might be a little bit too situational, and if you have too many cards of those in your hand, you're kind of stuck. So I think it's a really great tension that you're trying to decide between. Alright, so now some of the things that I don't like about the game, and there's not a whole lot, it's pretty much nitpicky at this point, but I wish that there were more heroes. I think they'd be kind of crazy not to include more heroes down the road. Marvel is a really popular intellectual property, and the game has done pretty well for itself, I think, and it has the potential to become even more mainstream. So I'd be surprised if we don't see more of that, but I do wish that there were more. Other things, the card quality could be better. It's still pretty decent quality, but it's a little bit on the thin side. So I've seen some warping based off of humidity and things like that might be a little bit alleviated by some different card things. I wish that there was more variety in the villain decks, the types of people that you could face, because right now there's just, hey, there's these symbols or these symbols. There's these types of people. The types of people don't really mean as much other than their difficulty and whether they correspond to some of the player powers. It'd be nice to see some kind of rule implemented that, you know, the goons require this, the villains require this, the henchmen, that they all kind of require a little bit of a different thing. I don't know, but I just like to see a little bit more variety in what you're actually combating against. So really small things, and mostly just asking for more of it. So that's not that much of a complaint. It's just I want more. So let's move on to the kind of things, what you may like or who may like this game. If you are a fan like me of Marvel, you're going to like this game. If you are a fan of cooperative games, this is a great cooperative game. If you like short games, this is a great filler because it's pretty quick to set up. You can play through the game several times in a very short amount of time. So basically, it's a great game to be able to crack out at a game night or over lunch and be able to play several hands of it and then be like, all right, that's done. Now everybody's actually here. So what do we actually want to set up to play for kind of our main course? But it's a great appetizer or dessert to a game night or a game session. I love it for that. It's a great gateway game. So if you're trying to work with people who are not avid gamers, this has a theme and mechanics that are very easy. I've played this game with people who have never played any kind of hobby game, never played a cooperative game before, and they absolutely loved it to the point where like, I need to go buy that one. So it's going to make a great gift for young people. So if you got young, teenage or 8 even, year-old children, this game is going to be great for them. So there's a lot of people I think that this is a great fit for. People that is not going to be a great fit for, there's people who are just not a fan of real-time games. And if you are watching this far into the video, you're probably not one of those, but keep in mind if you're trying to gift this or who you're going to bring it to the table with, if someone's not a fan of real-time games, this is absolutely not going to be their thing. Some people who are just not a fan of cooperative games too, so this is just kind of like repeating myself at this point, going to the other side, but there are people who are just, they aren't a fan of those kinds of things. You're not going to like this. If you're a big fan of, if you want to take your Marvel superheroes on a greater journey, you want to get immersed in the theme, first of all, it's 5 minutes. You don't have enough time to do that. Second of all, the characters don't feel that different. There are some cards that you can tell, like they're tied to that character. There's a little bit of theme there, but you don't feel necessarily like you're doing too much. I think the Hulk's probably one of the best ones because he has a power that can smash anybody, but then he turns into Puny Banner. But then cards in his deck allow him to go back to Hulk. I think that's pretty fun and fun to manage too. So if you're looking for a more in-depth Marvel experience, then you're going to want to go to a different game like Legendary Marvel or Marvel Strike Teams or Marvel. There's a couple other games out there, but it's not going to necessarily be that epic experience that you might be hoping for. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the spotlight off of 5 Minute Marvel by Connor Reed and published by Spin Master. If you want to know more about the game, you can see in the links in the description section, you can find my unboxing of the game as well as a real-time kind of setup and playthrough of the game so you can get a feel of how long it actually takes to set the game up and not just that it takes 5 minutes to play. And you can also find a link there to MacroNovaGames.com where you can buy 5 Minute Marvel and a whole bunch of other great games. If you have any other recommendations for me, whether there's points that I might have overlooked or you just want to call me flat wrong, or you want to agree with me, or you want to do whatever, let me know in the comments section below. I'd love to connect with you. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like what you see, and as always, have a wonderful day.